Rich. Richard?
Yep, Richie Rich.
Richie
However
Rich.
You will.
Yeah. What you do today?
Man, we dominated today.
Yeah.
First, we dominated. We opened up the gallery, got everything ready to go. Had a couple meetings this morning.
Yeah. With who?
So we're doing might be doing some art classes at Soho.
Oh.
So
Yeah, Soho Lounge.
Yeah. I've taught a couple classes up there soon before, but now we're probably gonna bring some programming up there. So
Rich. I gotta tell you, I can't not express gratitude before we actually kick off here. Thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you.
Dude, this is amazing. It is. Like the way that we met each other, the fact that we get to stay in touch, that we're both part of the Austin community. It's really fun.
Yep.
And a great life to live.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, so thank you so much for coming by. Let's talk about where you're at right now.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you got going on? What's in the pipeline?
So I own Rich's Art Gallery.
Yeah.
Founder of that. Been there for 2.5 years. We just partnered for the second location about 3 months ago that we opened up.
Yeah.
So
where is it?
1211 East Cesar Chavez.
Okay.
Yeah, so like a mile from the gallery. The second location is going to be more like an incubator. So we're going to have like product photography, recording studios, photography rooms, podcast rooms, all of that kind of stuff to kind of foster the creativity that we use at the original location, the actual art gallery. So,
man, it's awesome.
Thank you.
They go hand in hand together.
Yeah, 100%.
And thankfully they're close by.
Yeah.
Wow, what inspired that idea?
So, I mean, it's a crazy, crazy revolving circle of like what my idea of the gallery, how it transformed into what it is now, and like the future plans for like what we wanted. Like it constantly changed, but right now my ideology or my plans for the gallery in the future is, it becomes like some sort of like a franchise where we go into cities, into like maybe gentrified neighborhoods or underserved neighborhoods at all. Find the people doing good things in the community, throwing art shows, live music events, and then give them the money to open their own brick and mortar and kind of the playbook that we use with the gallery to be able to have a space to hold space for all these cultural events, but able to pay its bills and stay open.
Yeah.
Wow. So it'll be like a Rich's Art project everywhere. So, and that's the goal.
I like how it's scalable.
Yeah.
Right? I like how it has limitless growth opportunity.
Thank you.
Wow.
I didn't even think of it like that, but yeah.
Yeah. It's like, and it's a lot of light. We talk a lot about light and darkness, and I think it's such a bright energy force that makes a huge impact in a lot of people's lives. Matter of fact, I got to tell you something that you don't know.
Okay.
We used to have a business partner on the team, and he's moving to Italy soon.
All right.
And he's a very stoic young man, and hasn't really tapped into his creative side ever. He's 26, and then he actually, because of the event we hosted at your venue, realized that y'all have fashion shows and stuff.
Yeah.
And then he got connected with one of your people that run the shows.
Okay.
And then he was able to tap into his creative expression because of the space that you have created.
Let's go.
And ever since he's been doing that, like he went from kind of living a gray life to developing into this colorful, bright, expressive, happy guy.
Nice.
Yeah. So like that really does speak volumes about what you're doing.
Yeah.
So keep it going,
what's
man.
his name?
Ethan Espinosa.
Oh, nice. Heck yeah.
I don't know if
Ethan, obviously. Yeah, I know he obviously. Yeah, we met him through you. So
Yeah, he's raves about what you guys do.
Yo,
he's
Ethan's the
super
man.
happy to be plugged into your ecosystem.
Awesome.
I know. It's great.
Ethan's the man. Ethan is the man.
Yeah. You're the man. You both the man.
We're
Very
all
cool.
the man.
Yeah. So, okay, you got another shop opening up.
Mm-hmm.
with a little bit different of a concept.
Yep.
What else you got going on in your life? Somebody told me that you might have just had a kid.
Yeah, got a little girl that was just born. Oh my
Man.
gosh, that is nuts. I still wake up, even if she's sleeping with me. I still wake up and I'm like, wait, no, I got to check on the kid. Like, is she breathing? Like, I'm a father. Like, somebody handed me this human. It was like, take care of it. Like,
The dad instincts.
it was nuts, man.
They kick in, huh?
One thing I will tell you that's crazy, just about first of all, I cannot believe women have been doing this since the beginning of time. Like, going through that process and just helping her through delivering the child was mind blowing. I'm like thinking back, like, people used to do this in castles and teepees and without IVs, and I'm like, this is nuts. Like, women can accomplish anything they want to accomplish. Like that, it is an absolute amazing feat. But after it's done, they move you out of the delivery room to like the postpartum rooms, and they just wheel the baby in there in the little baby carriage, and they're like, congratulations, and then they just leave they just leave, and you're sitting there with the mom, and it's like, okay, should we Google like
now what
to do?
Bro,
it blows my mind that somebody's just like, all right, you're in charge of your kid now. Like,
here you go. Here's a life. Don't let it go.
Right, don't
mess this up.
Right.
Bro, don't drop it. How many times have you dropped your cell phone and cracked? Oh my god!
I'm like, wow, this is nuts, but it's beautiful. Her name's Maxine. We call her Max Marie. It's Maxine Marie, but had to give her a superhero name, of course. I'm a comic book kid, so
it's cool.
Max Marie, Maxosaurus.
So, okay, let's throw it back now. We got a little idea of where you're at today. I think I would say, in my perspective, that you're doing big things. And I say that to people on the show sometimes, and they're like, nah. But it's like, yeah, you're making a huge impact. I don't know what you think about yourself, but that's how I see it, and I'm grateful for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's talk about how you even got here in the first place. So let's throw it way back.
Okay.
Where did you grow up?
Grew up, born in Houston. Left 7th grade. My grandfather bought a construction business up here to Wimberley, Texas. And
nice spot.
Yep. So we moved up there as a family. Played football there. Football was my thing. Football's still my thing, but like it's a yin and a yang.
Yeah.
I was all state in Texas, and then went and played college ball at Texas Southern. And then played overseas, played pro for a while. But I grew up in Wimberley, and then college ball, and back to Houston and Texas Southern. So
Texas Southern.
Yeah, HBCU.
Yeah. So you played college ball.
Mm-hmm.
Now, bringing it back to when you were like 0 to 7, you were in Houston. What was that like?
It was crazy different than Wimberley, that's for sure. I grew up in Mo City, it's all black neighborhood. I would say lower middle class to low class. Football was, Southwest Houston, it was DJ Screw and football pretty much. That was your entire life.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, it was the city life for sure. The city life.
What'd you think about it?
I loved it. I love everything that I've went through in life because it kind of teaches you. Like, I feel like I can coexist in any room that I go into, just because of the drastic environments that I've changed to. Obviously, when I moved to Wimberley, it's an all-white neighborhood, and then I go back to a HBCU, which is all-black school, and then I live in Germany for a long time. So, always having those like kind of drastics, I loved it. I love those experiences because they build character.
Definitely.
Definitely.
So, was it a mild experience from 0 to 7, or did some things happen?
Yeah.
You recall?
100%. I mean, experiencing, one of my first memories when I switched schools was, usually it was in the middle of the semester, and usually the first holiday is MLK Day. And so I moved to Wimberley, and then had to go to school, like going back to school on MLK Day, and I was like, oh, that's weird. It's been a holiday every school that I've ever been into.
Yeah.
It's not here.
What?
But then we had Columbus Day off too, and it's one of those things as a kid in like 7th, 8th grade, you start to think about these things like, well, why do I get this holiday off and then not that holiday? And then you find out schools can make their own holidays, and then you're like, man, that's a little weird, you know? And then, you know, so, you know, going into things like that, definitely had a lot of crazy, like, racist things happen in small towns around here in Wimberley.
Really?
Or not necessarily in Wimberley, but small towns here in Texas.
Not in Houston.
No, not in Houston.
But you got to Wimberley, and what was that like? What was that culture shock like?
I mean, it's crazy because you can't believe people think that way, but you also kind of feel a little bit of responsibility to like, hey, maybe I could change. Like, let me, you know, share some life experiences, maybe change your point of view a little bit because there's other places, there's other people in this world, you know?
Yeah.
Can we tell some crazy stories?
Oh, no, this is a deep podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had a basketball game in 8th grade in Llano, Texas. And I'm walking out. We just finished the game. Our team's walking out Wimberley. There's a kid in the stands that's like, go back to Wimberley, N-word, you know, hit me with it. And, you know, I'm a little kid at this point. I don't know how to control my emotions. I lose it. So I like I jump in the stands to like go after the kid. Coach pulls me out. My coach is livid. He's like, you don't act like that. We don't represent like that from Wimberley. You know, you know, I tell him what the kid said to me, and he didn't know how to respond because, you know, it's the first time he's probably ever dealt with like, you know, like, well, how do I tell this little black kid that like he shouldn't be angry that a kid said that to him, you know? But, you know, I guess I embarrassed the kid at some point to where we stopped at Dairy Queen like on the way out to eat to go back to Wimberley, and the kids drove by. You know, it's so dumb. They drove by in a truck and they like made like a rope kind of noose and like just drove by on the truck with it. And it was one of those things that you're like sitting there like, where'd you learn that from? You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to do anything with it. Like, you're not going to get out the truck. You're nothing. Like, what's your point here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, going through things like that, but you learn to respond in like a super a positive. I'm a positive person, but you learn how to respond to like build the trust and the character even around you, because people are like, wow, he's in that situation, he's dealing with it with grace. You know what I mean? And it inspires them to be better in their situations. Yeah. But yeah, going through things like that during you know, growing up is, I think they're valuable.
Let's talk a little bit about how that impacted you that day.
Yeah. I mean, I was super angry at first, for sure. And, like, angry to the point where you're not behaving like you think like the person that you want to be.
For how long?
I mean, it didn't last too much longer. I would say it's for the night. You know, the next day I'm like, man, I can't let, maybe I've had a better insight since I was little, but you can't let, like, I don't want to not be who I am because an external influence I can't control.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely, I mean, I wouldn't be human if I didn't have hate in my heart for that night, you know, like, but,
what was that kid's name?
Oh, I have no clue.
You don't even know who he is?
Yeah, I have no clue.
Never saw him again?
No, never.
Jeez.
Ever.
Okay. Yeah, so that was your first glimpse at that stuff.
Right.
Okay, so you're moving on through your sports career, and what happened next? What was the next blip on the radar?
Well, I mean, which blip do we want to go to?
The next one.
The next blip. I mean, I've had a couple younger brothers pass away.
A couple?
Yeah.
They're your blood brothers?
Yeah. So one of them is my blood brother, is my little brother, And then the other one is my first cousin on my mom's side.
Mm.
But my mom and my auntie Leslie have lived together their entire life, so we shared bunk beds our entire life.
Right on. Yeah, he's
So,
like a brother.
Yeah, there was, besides us not having the same dad, that was pretty much the only difference. But yeah, one died in a car wreck, one died in a heart attack, one of a heart attack. And
Heart attack.
yeah,
How old is he?
22.
A 22-year-old had a heart attack.
Yeah. Yeah, 24, I'm sorry.
How come?
But we have a heart condition that kind of runs in our dad's side of the family. My little brother Tony, his was a little bit worse. And he had not a defibrillator. Yeah, it is a defibrillator, but he didn't charge it correct. Like he was supposed to charge it, and he had an accident playing basketball, and there was no charge, and it's to give the jump start, and yeah, he passed away playing basketball.
Jeez.
But I've grown. I shared a bunk bed with 3 kids growing up in my life. Little Tony passed away of a heart attack. Bubba passed away in a car wreck. And then Justin was my mom's best friend. It was her son. We shared a bunk bed for like 2 years when we were little. He passed away in a car wreck too.
Man.
So death to me is something that is a crazy driving force. And I think it's because all 3 of those kids, like I hung the moon to them. I was great at football, so I was always the star football player, but I was also an artist my entire life. So like I could do no wrong in any of those kids' eyes. Like they wanted to go everywhere I went. They were my shadow, and then
dude,
you take for granted in like what you provide in those people's life. Like when you have people that look up to you, you're like, but you don't, when they're not there anymore, you realize how much you value their support. You're like, it wasn't just me providing value to their life. Like they gave me so much value. And like with that ideology, I was like, I have to go hard as I can in everything that I do. Because they believed in me so hard that like I can't quit. Like it's a disservice, it's an injustice to them. Like you gotta make it happen. Whichever way you can. And so yeah, I would say those are some big blips that happened.
The way I see it is that death it provides an energy force for those that it impacts.
Yeah.
So it seems like you found a way to channel that energy.
Yeah. Yep. And it's a cool story. I say cool story, but I was in the hospital after Bubba got in a wreck and he got life flighted back. He was brain dead, but they kept him on a breathing machine so like families could say bye to him and stuff. So I got to like stay the night with him for a couple nights. And at that time, you're trying to make sense of this situation. Like, why something like this? What sense does any of this make? This is dumb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You hate it. You hate everything around you. Like it's
There's
just
nothing good about it.
I'm like, what sense could this make whatsoever? But it randomly hit me one day. My favorite comic book is Spider-Man, and obviously the saying in Spider-Man is with great responsibility.
Great power.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
And it just like it sparked an because Bubba was an organ donor, and when he passed away, it was like 4 or 5 different organs went immediately to save other people's life. Like we got to meet his heart donor.
Wow.
A bunch of different things. I think it was 11 or 12 organs in general that he went out to save people's lives. And then, obviously that saying, great power comes great responsibility hits, and it's like, all right, okay, I can see a shining light in this situation. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was needed for higher cause, better power, you know what I mean? Anything like that. So yeah. That's one way I healed through it.
Yeah. What would you say to all 3 of them? They're here right now.
Man. There's a lot. I wouldn't stop. They'd have to shut me up for one. I have so much to tell them. The things that I've went through, the things that I've accomplished, giving them all the promises that I made before they passed away that I wasn't able to fulfill. You know, um, it kills you. You know, there was it goes all the way down to even the smallest things. Like Bubba had a snapback hat that I loved, and he wanted to wear it, but I wanted to wear it, so I took it from him, and he passed away that next weekend. And I'm looking at the hat like, man, I didn't really even need this hat. I could just let him take the hat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, all the way down to those smallest little things. Me and little Tony were supposed to go get a tattoo. Literally like 2 weeks from the day that he passed away.
Man.
So it's like, you know, you want to talk about those things. Like, you know, if people take life for granted. Those every day, you're like, I'm busy, I can't do this, but then somebody's gone that fast.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had a similar experience with when my mother passed, right? It does, it changes you.
Yeah.
If you let it change you
Yeah.
for the good, right? So how would you encapsulate that change? How would you express that verbally? Like, what has that done for you ultimately when you wake up in the day?
So I have an intangible, like, and persistence, determination, and ambition. That is me encapsulated, and a lot of that ammo comes from death. Because I can't let myself quit because they wouldn't want me to quit, and they're not here to fight for, like, to do what they want to do. So I need to do it for them. That would 100% encapsulate it that way.
Right. Wow.
And there's like, and you can really start to see how people really go into a dark side of like death, of what it can do. I got my wisdom teeth taken out the day before Bubba got in his car wreck, and so I was on painkillers. And I remember like taking the painkillers just so I didn't have to think about, like, it wasn't about the teeth pain anymore. I just wanted to take the painkillers because I was like, I just want to check out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And obviously, it's my senior year in college, and I'm still trying to get to the NFL, and that helped pull me back out of it. I was like, yo, I got shit I gotta do. You know, so you gotta stop taking these stupid pain pills.
Dang.
You know what I mean?
How long did you take them?
Probably a month and a half, 2 months.
Okay.
You know, because it was he got in his wreck in January. You really, you know, my pro day was April 10th or something like that. So it was like beginning of January was terrible. I killed a lot of those pain pills.
Yeah, because you only need them for 3 days.
No,
But you did them for a month and a half, 2 months.
yeah.
Did you take a lot in a day?
No, I would only take one.
Yeah, one a day.
Yeah.
And how'd you get them?
So I had a friend.
Yeah.
Obviously, we had my wisdom teeth were impacted too, so I got a lot more than just 3 days. But I also had a friend that had extra, so I bought the pills from the friend.
So you were seeking them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I'll just come home, I take a pain pill, I check out, I wake up, I go about my day. But that is not healthy.
No, drugs are bad.
That's not healthy.
Man.
So,
tell me about your parents.
Parents,
Yeah.
my dad's a bit of a Rolling Stone. My mother kind of raised me by herself for the most part.
Where's your dad?
Houston.
He's in Houston?
Yeah, him and my mom went to high school together. They had me when they were 18.
Okay.
And they went that traditional route where, like,
So they're like 40 right now.
yeah, 54.
Yeah.
To be exact, 54.
Cool.
No, 55.
Nice.
Yeah, because it's 2020. My mom's about to be 55. Yeah. 56. Yeah.
Right on. That's pretty cool.
Why can't I get this math right? It's 54.
54.
She was born in 1970, so
Yeah.
yeah,
There you go.
54.
2024.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, the 18 the year it was messing me up. But yeah, they got married after they had me, because it was, you know, my grandfather was like, oh, you're gonna marry a daughter. Now, you know, they don't need to be married. They're kids, you know, they should have just tried to co-parent their best they can. But, you know, they ended up having a bad relationship. They were married for me and my sister, but my dad had 3 other kids with other women, you know, while they were married.
How
You
many
know,
other women?
7 altogether.
7.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. altogether.
6.
Latoya, he's married to Latoya right now, which is my stepmom.
Okay.
She's amazing. So it's 6.
6 women, but how many kids? 3 kids.
We had 9 altogether.
9
3
total.
stepkids, and then
Was each kid with one different woman each time?
mhm.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah. You ain't lying. So my grandfather did most of the fatherhood growing up.
Okay.
We have a good relationship now.
Yeah.
Now that, we're adults and we can, hash things out. But
Yeah, get an understanding of one another.
right.
Yeah, that's good.
And I'm his twin. Like, I look just like him. So
Yeah.
but yeah, my mom actually just opened up a vintage shop in the back of the gallery. So we expanded
Cool.
into a back unit. It's now her store.
Dude, that's cool.
So
Oh, I'm gonna check that out.
yeah,
Yes. It's
Come
awesome.
visit, bro.
But she lives in Houston. She's running the shop here.
So she moved from Houston when I graduated college. Right after Bubba, she moved to Colorado with a guy, which she never had a guy growing up. She completely devoted her life to her kids, but she had this guy. They were gonna get married or whatever. They moved to Colorado. Didn't work out. Moved to Ohio where my grandparents live because my whole family's originally from Ohio.
What part?
Akron.
Okay. Yeah.
Lived there for a while, and then just moved back down to Texas last year. But she lives in San Antonio with my aunt.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
she comes on the weekends and opens up her store. And,
That's really cool, man.
yeah.
How fun is that?
Yeah, it's dope. It's dope. Yeah. And then obviously I have a daughter now, so she gets to be around her grandkid.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Wow, what a ride so far.
Yeah.
So you're in college, senior year. You throw away the pills, thankfully.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you realize that's not for you.
Yeah, ain't working.
Talk to us a little bit about. Well, wait, hold on a minute. What about women in your life growing up? What was that like?
I mean, I was raised in a household full of women,
Yeah.
so I have my respect for women is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So I've always been really, really like being raised in a household full of women the way that I am, and all the strong women. You constantly hear about what they would like for a man to do. You know what I mean? So like I adapted a lot of those principles into my personality to be the best human being that I think that I can be. So I extremely, extremely grateful for that. But yeah, raised in a house, tribe full of women, pretty much.
How many women?
So my auntie Leslie, my mom, and my aunt Beth pretty much always live together.
Yeah.
And then we have an aunt Tia, Granny, and then Aunt Wendy, and my grandmother, obviously, and my grandfather. So.
And what about intimate relationships with women?
Been in and out of relationships.
How was that for you?
I feel like I am very healthy when it comes to relationships.
Yeah, that's good.
I am a Sagittarius, so like I'm brutally honest. I haven't been married or anything. I've had some couple. I say long relationships to me, but like my longest relationships maybe less than a year. You know, so I just hate to be in a situation where we're wasting time. And if I feel like I can't marry you, I'm not gonna waste your time.
Rightfully
either.
so.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, wait a second here. You know, in traditional cultural traditions. Am I saying this right? I don't even know if I'm speaking English right now. Anyways, marriage, then a kid.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You got a kid. I don't see a ring.
No.
What's going on over here?
Complete accident. One night stand.
Oh.
Yeah. South by Southwest, South by Southwest magic.
Yeah.
Brought a kid into this world. And yeah, I'm lucky enough to be blessed with a partner that we can talk and we're like, hey, It was a one night stand. We didn't think we were gonna see each other. Like we prefaced that, like you're going back to. She was from Michigan.
Michigan.
Yeah, and like we're not gonna see each other anymore.
It's cold up there.
Yeah. It is what it is, type of thing. And to when we turn around, she finds out she's pregnant. She wants to keep the kid, and we have to figure out a situation. It's like, hey, both of us grew up with a lot of parental toxicity. Like she has issues with her dad. Her mom and dad don't really get along, just like my mom and dad don't really get along. Excuse me. So we were like, hey, we don't need to force a relationship. We don't need to get married. We don't need. Matter of fact, we just need to be best friends. And how about we just raise a healthy kid? And we don't hate each other. Like imagine this kid growing up and being like, my mom and dad can like hang out with each other. They love each other. Yeah. And there's no animosity there, you know? So luckily enough to be able to find a person that thinks that way that I do. And so I was lucky enough to move into a 2-bedroom townhouse at the beginning of South by Southwest. And so she found out like a month later and I was like, all right, well, you know, I got 2 bedrooms. You can have the other bedroom. And we'll co-parent and partner and raise his kids. So we're roommates and we're raising Max.
Wow. Any sparks?
No. She and obviously she's gonna hear this at some point, but you know we've had these conversations.
Of course, you're gonna talk about this. You're gonna explore it,
right?
The possibilities.
And we went there and we talked about it and we tried a little bit, but it's we're not a fit intimately for each other.
Why not?
A lot of reasons.
What's one?
This conversation is gonna get me in some trouble for sure. I'm here for it though. So one, we speak completely 2 different languages sexually. Like as far as you know, you have submissive people that like to be submissive and people that like to be dominant and things like that. And she falls in a lot of the submissive role for a woman. Like as far on that scale as possible. And it's and I'm not really attracted to that. You know what I mean? You like
the fire.
Yeah, I love a woman that has some dominant tendencies to her. But that, you know, that's more subsurface. When it comes down to actual personalities and how we exist and things like that, there's a lot of things that would frustrate me completely being in an intimate relationship with her. And a lot of things that she loves about me, my fire, my ambition, everything about me, if a lot of times when I get in a situation where I'm forced into a corner and I have to do something I don't want to do, I have to be tied down, I don't have my freedom, I lose a lot of that fire. And I'll stop being the person that you love and I'll be a lot more cold. And it'll just create a bad situation. And I know that about myself.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be, you know, I hate to keep quoting the Zodiac, but, you know, I am a Sagittarius. I'm the traveler. I want to go places, do things. I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And she is a lot more of a homebody, like, you know, keeping it together inside and you know, and that's, you know, we're just different in that point.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if we were ever to be forced into a relationship, both of us, our personalities that we are would wear on each other completely. And we'd end up fighting each other about it.
Yeah, you don't want that. You want to keep the peace.
Yeah, I understand. We don't even need to go there.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, that would be why we're standing where we're standing. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So the South by Southwest magic. I mean, there was some kind of attraction there.
Yeah, and the beauty of it is that I remember telling her at one point when we were you know, like pillow talking and things like that. I was like, yo, my favorite thing about you is that, like, because we had a huge we had Black Future House at the gallery. There was celebrities everywhere. There was 3,000 people at the gallery. Like, it was nuts. It was blowing my mind. I was on cloud 9. Like, Toby Wigway from Houston came through. He's like one of my favorite rappers ever. He was there. Like, Anthony Hamilton, Spinderella was DJing. It was nuts.
Yeah.
you know, and I was on a cloud nine, and like everybody was like, Rich, 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 and everybody they know me, and you know, and nobody knew her, and she didn't know anybody that in my circle, and it was like peace. You know what I mean? Like it was like a. I was like, my favorite thing about you right now is nobody knows who you are in Austin.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a safe haven.
yeah, 100%. And it was great because we both talked about it, and we're like, well, you know, you're going back home, and I'm gonna be here, so let's just have fun. You know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So she was here for a little while.
She what?
She was here for a little while.
Yeah, she was here for like 3 days.
Okay.
Yeah, for the weekend.
All right. Wow, Rich. Really stepped in at this time, didn't you? No, I haven't seen it.
It was funny because I really wanted to get a dog this year, and I end up with a baby and a cat. She has a cat.
Yeah,
it's
great.
I just went for it. You know.
Is the cat funny?
The cat is funny.
I'm glad you said that.
Willow is a funny cat. She gets on my nerves though, because I'm not good with cat dander, and
or cedar.
Exactly. Yeah, and like she can sense that, and
Yeah.
she doesn't really like people usually, but like she's like obsessed with me for some reason. So she like breaks into my room and like sits on my top of my bed, you know, just hang. And I'm like, Willow, like boundaries. Like,
Get off me, cat.
right?
Get the heck off.
Boundaries. But yeah, she's a good cat. You know, baby and a cat. My life took a turn. I guess.
Yeah. So we got to tap a little bit into the mindset, Rich. Okay. And here's why. You grew up in a household, well, in an environment rather, where your parents didn't necessarily get along.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You moved to a city where you were introduced to racism, and that's not happy. That's negative, to say the least. 3 of your closest people in your life passed away in a very short amount of time. And then you still maintained a posture of forward and upward presence. And let's dive into what the mindset looks like to do that, despite all that adversity, all that darkness.
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
I tell people all the time, the only thing that I'm blessed with is is determination. Is no quit. Like I have no fear of failure.
Where'd you learn that?
Comic books.
What about the comic books?
You know, I always wanted to be a superhero in my life. You know, and superheroes don't quit.
Is that right?
Know? So it might be lame for some people, but I think a lot of that ideology that I possess comes from comic books.
Yeah.
You know?
There's no wrong place to get inspiration, Rich.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
That's true.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, 100%, man. Spider-Man is he's a great representation of what it takes to be a hero.
When were you first introduced to Spider-Man?
I would say the first episode I watched animated, the X-Men animated series, I think it was in like 92. And then shortly found the animated Spider-Man series on Fox. So I would say 4 or 5.
Nice.
Yeah.
Way back. That's cool.
100%.
So
yeah.
Back to college, right? We cannot skip this crucial step in your life's journey. Your pro day.
Mm-hmm.
What happened next?
Performed completely shitty at my pro day. Didn't get the training that I was supposed to get. My agent was terrible. Terrible times. I'm obviously undersized, and I'm at a small school. No NFL teams. Got none. And then did a bunch of like pro days and all-star games, and or not pro days, but tryouts and all-star games. And then I finally got a call from the Cowboys to go to rookie OTAs. They ended up not picking me up. I ended up not having any football to play the next year. Went into like a little slight depression for sure. Like, I've catered my entire life, my entire personality to being a football player.
What is it? Yeah. I can imagine how you got a little depressed because it's like expectations minus reality.
Yeah.
You expect this, but you got this.
Yeah. I'm like,
How do you manage that?
my mother made me get up and get a job for sure. I was, you know, I'm gonna get picked up. It's the fall semester, and she's like, "Nah, like you're not gonna sit around here all the time, like pouting that you don't." She made me go get a job. She found this one company too that I was able to go train at FCA, not FCA. Oh my God, what is that sports and nutrition? I don't know. They train a lot of pro athletes.
Okay.
And the guy, like, he watched my highlight tape and he thought I was really good. And then I came and did a tryout, and he was like, "You know what, man? We're gonna let you come train with us for like $500 a month," which, you know, they're training first round draft picks. It's like three to like $6,000 packages they do for these athletes a month to get them ready for pro. And he was like, "Okay, if you can manage $500 a month, we'll train you here with all these athletes."
How'd you meet this person?
Man, I cannot remember how I found out about this. You know, I was really connected in the football world,
Yeah,
so
because
like,
you're down the dumps,
mhm.
and all of a sudden something happened for you that day.
Yeah.
You don't remember how it happened?
So, so the reason why I don't remember why exactly how those things happened is because I was trying to do so much to make the football career happen. I was doing the pro days, doing the tryouts, and I was meeting a lot of people. I was meeting agents that would take money for you and get you a tryout, and then you'd never hear from them. It was just like crazy. But I had a friend that had trained there. And they were like, "Hey, you should check this place out." It's something like, I remember now. I remember one of the athletes that was training there was my uncle's receiver coach for Michigan State at the time. And one of his athletes were training there for the pro day. And my uncle mentioned that he had an athlete that was training down there. And I looked it up.
Yeah.
And then went there, you know, called them, asked them to come talk to, and went and sat down and had a meeting with the guy. That's how it happened.
There you go.
He he let me come train. So my mom got me that job at Pottery Barn Kids, and I was making enough money to be able to pay for that training. And I was in there with all these, you know, first round draft picks for the next season and all that kind of stuff. And I was shitting on them, killing them in the times, routes, everything. And I was like, you know, I'm as good as I think I am. Like, it put it in my head. Like, I'm like that. So
how'd you stay in shape up until that day?
I mean, we still had full access to the school,
So
the
you're
college.
still
Yeah, I could go up to the college and work out in the weight room anytime I wanted because I, you know, played 4 years there. It's the least they could do is let me work out.
nice.
So, but the shape that I got in with that training was nuts. And then I ended up playing football overseas after that. So, and then, yeah, which led to the art career. And so, yeah.
What was it like playing football overseas?
Amazing. Loved it. So traveling is my second favorite thing to do outside of my passions between football and art. And then I got to play my favorite sport and travel the world at the same time. It was absolutely amazing. I lived 2 years in Serbia. I used 3 years in Germany. I played for Team USA. We played in Poland. It was absolutely amazing.
Olympic team.
So it's not an Olympic. Well, flag football is an Olympic sport now, but you know, contact football is not an Olympic sport yet. But they have all-star games all over the world because pretty much every country you can think of has an all-star team now.
Cool.
So
wow.
When I played for Team USA, we would play Team Europe.
Nice.
We played them in Poland, and then we played them in Myrtle Beach one time. But yeah, that's how a lot of the teams overseas get to recruit you.
Oh.
So they see you play in these games, and then there's like a MySpace for athletes called Europlayers.com, and you make a profile on there, and teams can recruit you and talk to you, and
that's fun.
Yeah,
dude.
So,
what an experience!
And
what's one of your most fond memories of being out there, traveling with your team?
You know, those German beer festivals are something else.
Really?
Like, you fall in love with those things. There's one festival called Bottlemacht.
Bottlemacht.
Yeah, it's in Oberstem. This festival has been going on for like 700 years, right?
Yeah.
Started as a livestock
Wow.
trade, but they still do the same thing they did 700 years ago. Like Monday, they open the tents at 5 a.m., they crack the kegs at 6 a.m., and it is
Jeez.
thousands of people just slamming Mosses. Mosses are those big liters of beer at 6 a.m. Music, everything. It's nuts. You're like, by 12 o'clock, you're like,
Toast.
it's toast. It's nuts.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah. A lot of fun. But in Germany, I had my first solo art show. And it was a crazy situation because at this time while I was playing in Germany, I still, in my mind, I'm like, got to make it to the NFL. So I'm going to go play in the GFL, which is the highest league outside of America. I was killing it. Having an amazing year. And then having even more of an amazing game, tear my Achilles at halftime.
Stop, dude.
Tore my Achilles at halftime. Obviously, instantly, like, well, I'm not making it to the NFL now.
Oh, crap.
But
yeah,
a week before that, I was doing an interview with the newspaper after one of our games, and they were like, "What's your pastime? What do you love to do?" I was like, "I love to paint." And they were like, "Can you show us some of your artwork?" Showed them my artwork. They thought it was amazing. They showed a local gallery in Ingolstadt. Well, it's in a town right out of Ingolstadt, but they were like, "Hey, if you can get a bunch of stuff done, we'll have you a solo exhibit at the end of the football season." And I was like, "Done."
Heck yeah.
But football season was taking up a lot of time, and I wasn't really getting the paintings done. Then I tore my Achilles, and I had nothing else to do but to sit in my damn room and paint.
Yeah.
Finished the entire collection, had a solo show, went amazing, and I was like, maybe I could have an art career too,
Yeah.
I don't know if the NFL is going to work out anymore, except like I can coach, but created the art profile website all then, and then and just like it's been crazy ever since.
How would you classify your art?
My art, I would say it is a clash between self-identity and nostalgia. So, obviously, it's always talking about all of the things that I've went through in life and how I've overcome them. But like, it'll tie into some type of nostalgia that you grew up with. Like, I use a lot of comic book art or the typography or sayings from back then, or things like that. So, yeah, it's a combination. Cool. Yeah. But,
do you have any local artists that you are close friends with here?
Oh, a ton. Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody that we would know, the common person would know?
Yeah, I mean, you guys probably know Chris Tobar, maybe Jenkins or Xavier Alvarado.
You're fully plugged in.
Yeah, in the art world here in Austin, for sure. Yeah.
Wow.
Very, very plugged in.
Wow. Man, I got a couple of questions about the whole art deal. Yeah.
Hit me.
When did you start painting?
I would say around that same time. I was been drawing my entire life, and so having those comic books or watching those TV shows, I wanted to draw comic book characters.
Yeah.
So I would say the earliest I can remember drawing stuff is 3, 4.
Dang. Awesome.
And my mom bought me art supplies my entire life, so I've just been experimenting.
Yeah.
And yeah. My entire life, art has been the yin to the yang for sure. I leave football practice, I go home and do art.
So you're not just the art gallery owner, but you do art.
Yeah, that's how I got here.
Yeah.
Like my solo show's up in the gallery right now. It's 250 paintings.
So you can go. How does one check it out?
You just go to the gallery. We're open.
What are the hours?
Friday, Saturday, 12 to 7, and then Sunday, 11 to 4.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, and for those that haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. It's an awesome space.
Thank you.
Yeah, for so many reasons. Like, you walk in there, it's like you're in another world.
Yeah.
You feel full when you get in there.
Yeah, thank you.
In a spiritual way.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's talk about some fun stuff. We're talking a little about where you're at now, how you got here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the future. We got to know where we're going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, It's wide open right now. I have a couple fashion lines. I have my artwork. I'm also a graphic designer.
Yeah.
I've been doing the last year. I've been doing a lot of media kits for brands, which is starting to get pretty expensive. Obviously, I have the daughter, so you know.
You do now.
Right? Yeah, I would love. So I always thought I'd be a coach,
Yeah.
and a kind of turning period I had right when I retired from playing ball overseas is I accepted a coaching job.
Mm.
So I came home. I was doing my art, personal training, and probably about 6 months into it, I got a call to be an offensive coordinator for overseas. Like, I'd have been an offensive coordinator at 32. Would have been absolutely amazing. I could have been in the NFL by 40. I would have been like one of the youngest coaches in the NFL. And then, just like the young coaches you see breaking records now, like I saw myself having that type of trajectory. When I took that coaching job, obviously it's a 24/7 job. I was doing installations. I was recruiting players. I was, figuring out exactly how the playbook was going to work, everything like that. And I was miserable.
Really?
I was so miserable. But at that time, there was no time for art because it was all coaching, everything. Like, I stopped going to art shows.
All the time, overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, I don't like this and I'm not having fun. And I've bred myself to be a good coach. Like, I always thought I was going to coach after I got done playing.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, why are you unhappy? And then I just hit me one day that I don't think I love football as much as I thought I did. And maybe I love art more. Maybe the roles have been reversed and art's the real love of my life and football's been my hobby. And you can love both of those, but one of them kind of has to, take some precedent. And with that ideology, I literally called the team up. I was like, I don't want to do this, and quit. And found the gallery on Craigslist 2 weeks later.
Damn. There it is.
So
Yeah.
That was the future. That was so maybe one day, like I said, maybe one day after I have 10 art galleries, we got a bunch of different cities. My brands are doing well. Daughter's taken care of. I can jump back into that coaching world for a little bit.
Maybe you'll coach your daughter.
Maybe
She could go pro.
True.
Something.
Yeah.
Never know.
Yeah, 100%.
She got those athletic genes now.
Yeah, so her mom's tall too.
There it is.
So
built like an Amazon woman.
Yeah.
No, I don't know, dude.
Nah, she's tall. She's tall. She was an athlete back in her day too.
She taller than you, Rich?
No. Yeah, she
the way you said that.
I think
So good.
I think she might be. I think she might be like a centimeter taller than
she is.
But if I got my good shoes on, then I'm taller for sure.
Okay. Good. Oh yeah. We're gonna have to talk about that off camera. That's good. No, that's funny. Okay, so yeah, the world's your oyster, and you're thinking you're gonna get places all over the place. Is that what you want?
I would love to.
Rich's Art Gallery.
Yeah, the model that I have is very possible to make a cultural space like that exist. Like art gallery, because it's very hard to have an art gallery if you're not in that fine art space and you're selling stuff for crazy amounts of prices, and it's not a place that's like a lot of fine art galleries is not where people go to just hang out. You know what I mean? They love being in the space, things like that.
It's very formal.
Right, 100%. 100%. And yeah, the gallery is a community space. Like people live inside that thing pretty much.
Yep.
And I didn't realize it then, but I realize it now. Like the formula to make that happen is sustainable, no matter what city you're in. And it can be a thing where there's a lot of locations in a lot of places.
Could you teach the formula?
I think so.
If someone asked?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
You discovered this.
Yeah. I mean, I would say maybe I didn't discover it, but I taught myself for sure.
Wow.
I'm sure that there's other places like it somewhere, but yeah, it's a very scalable, because it really deals with the community in wherever it's at.
Right.
and doing the few 3 or 4 things that cover your bottom dollar, create you a foundation to be able to do the cool cultural things that that cities love.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It's universal.
right?
Yeah. And it definitely brings people together.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And every city has grants for programs like Rich's Art Gallery.
It's cool.
So
I'm thinking about that block party you guys hosted.
yeah,
That was freaking fun, man.
which one?
It was a fashion show block party
Okay, yeah,
that
hell
Ethan was in.
yeah.
So cool. Who thought of that?
So I've had a lot of fashion shows there. I think that one. Was that the one at the mansion?
No?
That was the one at the gallery.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was that was Inspired to Modify. So basically, it's part of the community that things happen like this. So I've hosted a fashion show for my 1-year anniversary at the gallery out there. And it went absolutely amazing.
Dude.
To the point where like there's a lot of people in Austin that do fashion. They started coming to the gallery like, hey, I want to partner and do fashion shows with fashion. I'm like, I'm not even a fashion designer. I was just like taking a whack at it, you know?
Yeah.
And,
dude, what does that tell you though? What does that tell you?
it tells me like whatever you think you want to do, just start it. It doesn't have to be a perfect plan. It doesn't have to be well thought out, nothing. Whatever you want to do, just start it.
Yeah.
Speak it and see what happens. You know? And doing that with the fashion led to an assistant I hired, Destiny. You know Destiny.
5-star.
Yeah.
5-star human being.
Yeah. She's beast. She did y'all's event at the gallery too. And then obviously she's an incredible fashion designer. And so
Powerhouse.
100%. And she wanted to start her fashion line. She wanted to recruit people. So she wanted to learn how I build community, how I throw events, all that kind of stuff. So she ended up being my assistant. And so that was the first fashion show we put together for her. That was her first Inspire to Modify. Went absolutely amazing. The city loves it. So then obviously we just threw the second Inspire to Modify. But yeah, that's how that happens.
Man.
You know?
It's like a wave.
Right.
And you're riding it. They're like, there's just energy. I don't know what to do with it. Let's figure something out.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Find the right people. You make it happen.
Yeah. And you're not necessarily stressing about the outcome. You're just, you know what you want. You work for it. And then literally the world will provide as you speak it out.
Yeah.
You know?
It reminds me of the principle. You fall in love with the process. The outcome will take care of itself.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
I'm getting fired up. It's awesome, man. Really, really is cool.
Yeah,
Love
no,
what
this
you're
is
doing.
this is awesome.
Support what you're doing. I believe in it. Looking forward to the next event that we host there.
Yeah, let's go.
Hopefully, y'all still allow people to host events
Oh
there.
yeah, no,
Okay.
we're doing. That's our bread and butter. So
Yeah, I might bring an elephant next time. We'll see. I'm kidding. Were you like, what?
I was like, that is? Oh my god, that's a kangaroo. Like. That was nuts, man. That was nuts. That's the first time we've had any livestock.
You know who I think about who throws like the best get-togethers is Willy Wonka, dude. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, because he's so out there, you just don't know what to expect. Well, that's why I was like, let me throw a disco party with some animals. You know, keep it weird, right?
That's we're gonna have to throw a Willy Wonka party, a block party, Willy Wonka block party at the
Chocolate
gallery.
River. Let's go.
It's just gonna be crazy. It's just bananas.
So, Rich, how do people get a hold of you, man? What's the best way? How do they see your art? How do they contact you?
I mean,
all the things.
All obviously following the gallery's page or the website, subscribing to that
What's the
our
website?
email list, richesart.com.
richesart.com.
RICHESART.com. We got the subscribe link on there, and then we email everybody everything that we have going on.
Cool.
Best way. My personal Instagram is Rich's Artwork, so RICHES Artwork, and then the galleries is Rich's Art Gallery. So
cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to subscribe.
Yeah,
that sounds awesome. When's the next event?
So we have a watercolor class on Tuesday, a collage class on Wednesday, an art history lecture on Thursday. And then the following week, we have a comedy show, custom shoe class.
Dang.
And a poetry slam. And then to end the month off, we have a jazz night.
That's what's up, dude. That's amazing.
Thanks.
Which
man.
one's your favorite?
Oh, so when I first started the gallery, I had a custom clothing. I had a direct-to-garment printer in the back. And I was like, I need space to hold it. I find a space for it. I'll decorate the front as an art gallery. And I always dreamed about having an art gallery with an office upstairs for jazz nights.
Yeah.
And I could watch jazz in my art gallery from my office.
Yeah.
And so our jazz nights are amazing now. So it's like one of those things. It's like one of the first things you think about a plan, seeing it. Like when I'm there watching the jazz nights in the art gallery, I'm like, man, this is something I've always dreamed about.
Whoa, dude.
You know, so it's like, right, you know, you're right where you're supposed to be in life.
Do you have a vision board by chance? Did you ever make a vision board?
I mean, I have one in my head for sure.
Yeah, in your head, yeah. That's so cool that you visualized that and then it came true.
Yeah.
The power of visualization is real.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, folks, you heard it here first. Rich, man, thanks a million for coming by today.
Appreciate you.
That's
That's
freaking awesome.
definitely one of the best podcasts I've ever been on.
Thank you.
Like nobody gets people to go that deep. Like this is
Thank you, man. It means a lot.
no, it's intentional.
Folks, you know where to hit Rich up. Until next time, stay fired up. Cheers.
Deuces.